they see these people who are homeless as being different from us. They're, so that's the divide, really, is that these people, if they weren't, we think about it in terms of them not being motivated and being lazy and stuff like that.
Right.
But, they're like any of us, really.
Homelessness is prevalent all throughout Cleveland. 227,740 people in Cuyahoga County live in poverty. 23,000 people are homeless. Changing cots, cement floors, vast gymnasiums, homelessness can face us all, but for certain peoples, it is a far more pressing issue. Once you experience homelessness, your chances of facing it again are far more likely. Generational poverty pushes the same families, generation after generation, into the same plight. Where will I sleep at night? How will I feed my family? Where will my next paycheck come from? What do I do if I have no support? All of these questions have raced through the minds of homeless people everywhere. There always seems to be a bump in the road. Things aren't perfect, but for those of us who have always gone to bed feeling full, who have always had a room to sleep in, who have always had a loving family at our sides, it is hard to fathom what life is like for those who are experiencing homelessness. It can feel removed, almost foreign. It is time to give justice to those people that often go ignored. It is time to give justice to the homeless.
One of the struggles for a lot of our women is getting housing. They don't want to go into the projects. They don't want to live in CMHA subsidized housing because they're in bad neighborhoods. And this mom was like, you know what? It's what I got to do. It's not going to be forever. It's what I got to do. So she got housing fairly quickly because she was willing to go live in the projects in a bad neighborhood with her kids. And so that's what she did. She moved there. 1 second, please. Okay. She let her, so she moved there, got a job. She was, I don't know if she was managing or assistant managing a Burger King, which she had done in the past. And she was working, navigating, getting the kids to school. And she's done well. But then stuff happened, right? Like her car got broken into. Why? Because she lives in a bad neighborhood. So her car got broken into. Well, she let her insurance lapse. So then she didn't have the money to fix the car. And then it was a whole thing. And
there's so many statistics and generalizations regarding homelessness that we sometimes forget the individual. To make the best budget possible, we tried to keep in mind individuality and circumstance. It is impossible to ignore the inherent disadvantages people have due to their race, socioeconomic class, or other identifiers. It is crucial that we provide equity in a system that places people at such different points from birth. We have formed our budget around the individual's ability to escape the cycle of poverty and homelessness for good.
Currently, the Cleveland budget dedicates $35 million per year to minimizing and ameliorating the issue of homelessness. This budget is divided into quarters. Each quarter is worth $2.5 million. As of 2017, Cleveland placed 1.3 quarters, or $3,375,595 into rapid rehousing, 3.5 quarters, or $8,820,930 into shelter maintenance, and 9.2 quarters, or $23,304,853 into permanent supportive housing. We believe that this plan can be further reformed. We believe that a slight increase in shelter funds would be incredibly beneficial. While decreasing the need of shelters is a valid pursuit in ending homelessness, at its current stage, well-run shelters are still needed to give those struggling shelter and support. Since the current shelter maintenance cost in Cleveland is about $8.8 million per year, we would designate 4 quarters or $10 million to shelter programming. This would include the upkeep of currently government-funded shelters, as well as the creation of a new seasonal-based shelter. The new facility we propose would be dedicated to families from April to September and then for the remaining months. Cleveland needs another emergency shelter. Every night, every shelter in Cleveland is filled to capacity, and there are many more on the waiting lists. Overflow is a major problem. This issue worsens for different people at different times. The gymnasium at Elizabeth Baptist Church currently acts as an alleviator of the issue of seasonal demand for shelter. In the summer, the facility is used as an overflow space for families, and in the winter, it is used for single men. but a big open gym provides no privacy and certainly no refuge. People that require shelter services are already at the end of the line. They have nowhere else to turn to. The extra stress of living in a crowded room surrounded by unfamiliar people who you live elbow to elbow with, coupled with the smells of people who lack the space and resources to shower, only worsen the situation for those trying to recover. According to Kevin Finn, CEO of Strategies to End Homelessness, in the past year, summertime family homelessness has gotten even worse. Despite the decrease in homelessness overall, in recent years, family homelessness has increased. This is largely due to schools being out and children of families who have doubled up during school overpopulating houses. In the winter months, Cleveland shelters see an overflow in single adult men.
It tends to be a little bit more in the winter than in the summer or other times of year. When winter hits, guys tend to come in.
Right.
Otherwise, when it's warm outside, they might stay out, not worry about it.
Seeking shelter. The highest yearly total of hypothermia-related deaths, 1,536, was in 2010, and approximately 67% of hypothermia-related deaths were among males. In the warmer months, many men choose to sleep outside, but when the Cleveland cold begins to take over, this is no longer seen as a viable option. Both of the seasonal overflow issues of family and single male homelessness can be addressed by the addition of a seasonal shelter.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the kind of money and resources that they need in order to stay to stay away from homelessness.
And so just putting people in housing isn't enough. That's good for about 5 or 10% of the population. The other 90% are gonna, if you put them in a place, they're gonna end up homeless again within a year. It's not going to last because you're not dealing with their other issues. So supportive services are huge, and there's a huge lack of funding for that. There's not enough money to go around to help people with what they need. They need long-term support.
We would like to see 3/4 or $7.5 million designated to preventative and currently homeless services. As of now, the current Cleveland plan does not allocate any budget money to services. We have outlined 3 major service programs we believe are crucial to bringing homeless people back on their feet. The first is a more improved Housing Navigator program. Housing Navigators are new to Ohio, but have extreme effectiveness at housing retention, 90%. At central intake, an individual would be assigned to a housing navigator based on their individual needs, someone to guide and connect them with the communities along the way so that they can foster beneficial relationships after being housed. Unfortunately, homeless individuals face the obstacle of isolation and arduous house searching. Housing navigators provide the support. They are a constant presence in their clients' unstable lives. They provide them with a helping hand when they need it most and will not leave their side until they find the support and success through suitable housing. They meet with clients regularly and build relationships with organizations and local communities to find their clients the home they need, as well as groups that suit their needs. A supported housing navigator system, we believe, will reduce recurring visits to shelters and bolster housing retention as individuals are met with a personal support system immediately after entering into the shelter and retain their support well into being housed.
mentors. They need people who are going to walk alongside them in the process. Good case management. So not only are they
Housing First does not necessarily deal with other issues that people have to deal with. We're not really that proficient. And what Housing First intends to do is to put a person in housing and then help support them staying in housing. I don't think we're really that good at doing that. Yeah, more public housing is the way to go.
A study by William Evans, James Sullivan, and Melanie Walskog titled The Impact of Homelessness Prevention Programs on Homelessness has shown that temporary financial assistance to families at imminent risk of homelessness reduces families entering the shelter system by 76%. In the case of individuals with lower than medium incomes at imminent risk of homelessness, temporary financial assistance reduced the likelihood of entering the shelter system by 88%. In Chicago, where this study took place, the average cost of averting homelessness through temporary financial assistance was $10,300 per person. Compared to the $35,578 the average homeless person costs per year, temporary cash assistance is not only a strong ethical decision, but a strong economic one as well.
Kind of supports we need to put in place to keep them out. So, I think from an employment standpoint, that people who have been incarcerated have a much harder time. If you remember, we used to ask people about whether they had been incarcerated, and that would be a stumbling block to get employment.
Okay. Is it still a stumbling block to get employment?
Yeah, there's been some efforts to what they call ban the box, but that hasn't been entirely successful.
So we need to do more to help ex-cons.
Yes.
Okay.
In this society, African Americans have a tough time dealing with these issues than other people.
Mm-hmm.
They could do more to incentivize landlords.
We propose to allocate the remaining 7 quarters or $17.5 million to housing. The current Cleveland plan allocates 10.5 quarters to housing, 1.3 to the rapid rehousing program, and 9.2 to permanent supportive housing. We agree with the importance of these programs, but believe that services need to be emphasized so that people experiencing homelessness are supported through the aftermath of finding housing as opposed to abandonment after finding a house. Housing First is a great program, but we are aware that those most likely to be homeless are the people who are already homeless. By giving funds to services, we are intentionally preventing relapses and more extreme chronic homelessness.
They want to just get people off the streets because that looks bad. So they want to say, we've housed, 3,000 people. Okay, you've housed 3,000 people, but how long did they stay in that housing? And now, these rapid rehousing vouchers that they give people, they're short. They're only supported for like 4 months out. So then what's happening is, they have this cycle where they're coming back, they're homeless again, they get evicted because they can't sustain the rent of the place. And so then you know what they do? They've cut them off now, they can't reapply anymore. It used to be you could get rapid rehousing once. There's not enough money. So now they're saying you get it once. So now when the person gets evicted and loses it, they're out. It's such a big problem, and there's no quick fixes, and that's what everybody wants, because the numbers look good, and if your numbers look good, you get more money from the government. But it's like, it doesn't work.
You don't have to fix them before you put them in a house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And do you think that's the right way to do it?
Yeah, I think so. But again, you gotta stay with them once you put them in. And I think the drop off is that you might not have the kinds of services they need in order to maintain.
Don't get me started, I could go for days. It's a huge problem, and it's not going to be fixed simply. So
This plan will not only help those who are experiencing homelessness find a home, but it will actively prevent them from becoming homeless again. It is time to support the forgotten population. It is time to give them the help they need.